Hello, friends. Here we are. I'm really glad you're here. And tonight we're going to talk about something that might just challenge what you think mindfulness is. We're going to talk about the surprising link about motion and calm. If you've ever tried to sit still and meditate, because I tried for years without success, and instead you felt more restless, more irritated, or mentally loud, this is for you. And again, I'm super glad you're here. If you want to let me know where you're coming from in the chat, that would be great. In the meantime, we're going to start talking about mindful movement. And before we go any further, I want to share with you something that might be helpful for you. The mindfulness quiz in the link in the description helps you discover which mindfulness practices fit you in this moment. And I'm not saying that it could be only one, but it might be the one that works for you best right now. Some people stabilize by breathing, some through journaling, and many actually, regulate through movement. I actually like all of them, but movement is something that I've been doing for years. I did not recognize it as mindfulness for years. And honestly, if I had to sit still and be quiet and like that's not going to happen for me. It just doesn't work for me that way. Guided meditations work for me, but if you can't sit still, that does not mean that you are bad at mindfulness. It just means you need to move to regulate. And many of us in high level roles that are accomplished professionals, our minds are constantly engaged. Strategy, decisions, risk, responsibility. I mean, the list is endless and it never ends. And through all of that, you and me are expected to be composed and calm. And what is rarely acknowledged is that there's a lot of tension that accumulates in the body while that is all going on. While our brains are doing all those things, our shoulders tighten, our jaws lock. In fact, I used to get a ton of tension and stress in my jaws. Our breath gets short and our energy can get stuck. It's not a wonder that we get cranky pants, that we react instead of respond. So, movement releases what thinking cannot. And honestly, I will go for a walk and listen to a walking meditation. And I'm usually using the app Insight Timer to listen to a walking meditation because I find that really helpful. It helps me to be very present and in the moment and appreciate where I'm at instead of thinking about all the things I got to do when I get done with my walk. And I usually go on at least one during the day and I walk to work and I walk home and I use those opportunities to let whatever stuff is going on to move. That energy needs to move. For some of us, that is the way that we practice mindfulness. And thanks for being here. If you want to put something in the chat and let me know if you have questions, just pop them in there and let me know. So, mindful movement is really powerful and I have found it to be such, is when you're feeling restless or edgy, when your thoughts won't slow down, when you're constantly racing, like, I need to be doing this and this and this, and you're making endless lists, and your thoughts won't slow down. I've also found that mindful movement, just going for a quick walk, is really good if I'm about to give a big presentation. Perhaps it's for an RFP or something like that, and I'm just feeling maybe not stressed, but I can feel my energy cranking up a little bit because I know that this is important. This can also be really good if you're having long strategic sessions with your team. I do this, so at least once a year, I leave. I leave town and I go somewhere. I go to a mountain house that I rent and I plan. I plan what I'm gonna do. It's strategic. And intermixed through that, and I go and do that with my accountability buddy, we go for walks because we need to move. We can't just be in our heads all day long. I mean, we can, but it's not going to help us as much as taking a break and going for a walk. And when you're thinking also about just pushing through instead of pausing, like today, for example, um, one of my coworkers came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go head out and go to such and such and get an iced coffee because I need a break." And I said, "Oh, can I walk with you?" I don't really want an iced coffee, didn't care about that, but I felt like I needed a reason to get up out of my chair, and, sometimes you just gotta take those opportunities. So, sometimes people will take the quiz when they don't know what to do, they don't know where to start, and realize when they do that movement is their primary regulator, not because they're undisciplined, but because their nervous system integrates through motion. It calms through motion, letting those emotions move through us, and our nervous system has a chance to calm down. So, movement also reduces subtle anxiety. Sometimes you don't even know you're feeling anxious, but that movement will remove that. And it will also make you more clear about what it is that you're going to do next. You don't have to be thinking about what you're going to do next, but it gives you the opportunity to and I like to road bike, and this is long before I knew anything about mindful movement, and I said that when I was biking, that the air, the wind would blow all the crap out of my head, which was my way of I didn't understand that I was practicing mindfulness by doing that, but it definitely helped. It helped also make me less reactive and less, jumping on somebody when, you know, they said something or my daughter would make some snarky remark because, teenagers. But I found myself able to, you know, let her have her moment. She's trying to get a rise out of me. I just need to let her have her thing, and I'm gonna be calm. For me, one of the most important pieces of this is that it allows us to trust ourselves. We trust ourselves. We feel steadier in our bodies. We're here. And when our bodies feel more steady, our minds will follow. It's that I don't want to say it's that simple, but it is kind of that simple. And externally, something shifts too. We move differently, we speak more clearly, we pause without tension. Decision making becomes easier, not because we're forcing clarity, but because our system is not overloaded. This embodied calm is trained. We can train ourselves to do it. So let's practice now. Let's do a little practice. And if you're not able to stand, and I'm going to do this seated right now, only because we're here right now, I'm here right now. But if you can, if you're listening to this later, you can do it standing up. But go ahead and stand, but you can do it seated. So let's start by rolling our shoulders slowly back. We're slow and intentional about this. And notice where you feel tight. Just keep rolling. Notice where your shoulders are tight. And then turn your head to one side and let your head rest down. And then go to the other side. And you might notice that one side is tighter than the other, because I am definitely noticing that right now. Most definitely noticing that. We're not performing, we're just being aware of what is going on and how our bodies feel. That's it. See, like this side, I can go boom all the way down here. And this side, not so much. Ooh, but more than I could a moment ago. Oh, yeah. So tell me, where do you hold the most tension? All right. Let me know in the chat. I've just put that question in the chat. Let me know where you're holding most of your tension. That you just, and we're just talking about our shoulders and our neck and our head right now, because those were the things that we were moving. And I'm noticing it right up here at the top of my shoulders. That's where I'm noticing. If you want to share where you're noticing tension, go right ahead. Now, okay. Now let's start to sway side to side a little bit. We're just moving. And if you want to add an inhale and an exhale, so how's that feeling? Right? This is an exercise. We are integrating. We are allowing to feel. We are allowing awareness in our body. And I told you, you could do this sitting down and still get the benefit from it. So feels like I'm rocking on a boat. When we coordinate our breath with movement, we are signaling safety to the nervous system. So, yes, here we go. All right. And let's come to center. All right. Now bring awareness to your feet. And I hope that you've got them sitting on the floor, feet flat, sitting right on the floor, legs not crossed, because what we want to do is gently press our feet into the floor. Just gently. You don't have to mash them down. Just gently press your feet into the floor. And if you want, you can rock from one foot to the other and notice how your weight is shifting from one side to the other. I actually started doing this more when I'm standing because I've noticed that it helps me to feel calm and stable. So go ahead, keep rocking back and forth. And my next question is, if I can get it in there, is do you feel more grounded or more restless right now? How is this feeling as you're rocking back and forth, back and forth? It's a simple thing. Heck, you can do this sitting at your desk. You don't need to go outside for a walk because if you're feeling like I can't leave my desk, I got stuff to do, all right, that's fine. Just do this. If you're standing, that's fine. If you're not, just shift your weight from one foot to the other. Now, let's gently move forward and let your arms hang down. Don't force. You're not trying to prove anything about how flexible you are to anybody. Just let yourself hang there. Let your arms hang there. If you want to wiggle your hands, fine. But notice where you feel maybe a little stretch. I feel a little stretch in my upper arms right now. And then let your neck soften. And then, oh, come back up. And if you want, you can go back down. And slowly come back up. Yes. Ah, feels good. I'm, yes. I think I needed this tonight. Oh, now, again, you can do this seated or standing, but sit tall, not rigid, just aligned. And imagine, and I had a Pilates instructor that finally made this make sense to me. Imagine a string coming from the crown of your head and pulling you up. You're not You're not stressing, you're not rigid. You're just sitting up straight or standing straight and your feet are grounded, your shoulders open, your jaw is relaxed. And we're just breathing here. We're just taking a moment to be aware of our bodies and how they feel. And posture, although your mom might disagree, posture isn't about performing, it's about regulating. It's being in alignment. And when we're sitting up straight or standing straight and our chest is open, we are open. We are open to receiving calm and peace. Now, give me one word for how your body feels right now. And I put that in the chat. One word for how your body feels right now. So, I definitely feel more relaxed than I did when I started. I guess I had a busy day. I did have a busy day. All right. Let's take another few deep breaths. And you can be thinking about your word, whatever it is. You can be sharing your word. Now, now we've only been here for about 20 minutes. Think about, how does your mind feel, right? You were just noticing how your body felt. How does your mind feel compared to where it was 20 minutes ago? My body feels more relaxed. I feel more relaxed. I don't want to say I get stressed before these sessions, but I definitely feel my mind is more relaxed. But this movement, regardless of how you do it, creates calm, not stillness, right? For some of us, still meditation works. I love me an active meditation. It's not the only way I practice meditation, but I love a walking meditation. I love going for a ride on my bike because when I do that, I am hyper focused on my body and my breath and my surroundings. And that right there is mindfulness, being very present. So moving. So if you feel more relaxed and more calm, let me know in the comments, because that's what this is about. For some of us, the real takeaway is that you don't need a reset. You don't need to do big honkin' retreats. You need micro resets before a board meeting or before a tense phone call that you're going to make or before you have to make a decision. Move first, decide second. What that means is we're regulating and then responding. And if this mindful movement resonates with you, I have structured courses and guided meditation practices designed for real life, because that's where we live. You can find those on Insight Timer. You can find them on Spotify and YouTube. In fact, because I love mindful, active meditations for walking so much, I think I have one meditation for every season of the year. And these are really practical. It's not fluffy because we don't always have time to go and do things. To go, I used to not go for a bike ride unless I could go for 3 or 4 hours. And then I discovered, oh, hey, I'm not riding as much as I want. And so then I would find time to do a 20-minute ride. Or if you don't have time during the day, just sit at your desk and rock and breathe in and out. And if you're still unsure whether movement is your primary stabilizer, the mindfulness quiz link is below, and it is a really simple, easy way to align your practice, your mindfulness practice, with how you actually operate, like what works best for you. And the bottom line is you don't have to become calmer by force. In fact, you can't force it. You cannot force calm. You cannot force joy. You cannot force relaxation. You just need to regulate in a way that fits your system. Motion could be that. And motion can be calm and very powerful. And power doesn't have to be loud. We can do small things to take care of ourselves. I'm glad you were here tonight. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I check all of the messages that I get, and I'm really glad you were here with me tonight. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday, where we're going to be talking about mindful breathing. So every week, we talk about a different form of mindfulness so you can find the one that works best for you. Have a lovely evening.